Nigeria to you, even though I might not come out smiling because I'm starting this program on a very sad note. During the swearing in any government, when it comes to time of swearing in, the government will always say, and I quote, to protect, to serve and protect the lives and property of Nigerians and citizens. But over time, has it been so? Is it that the government are not proactive in fighting this incessant killing? Because today we'll be dealing on a topic that says the unending killings, a herdsmen menace. Who are these herdsmen? Why are they so tough, or why is it so hard to be able to nip this in the bud? The killings are just getting out of hand. It was 17, later 11, and then 19. And not just in one place, it's in Benue, it's in Taraba, it's in Zamfara and Nasarawa states. What exactly is going on? My name is Unending, and today I have with me two gentlemen that will know anything as deep as this. Mr. Chikenwa Urike, who is the coordinator of Civic Space Initiative and the former national coordinator of the Transition Monitoring Group. It's good to have you on the program.
It's good to be here.
Well, we just smile and pretend sometimes that everything is all right, but sometimes we will cry from the spirit. It's that deep. I also have this young man who has served Nigeria, and not just Nigeria, Africa, in different capacity. He heads the policy division of African Youth Union Commission. He is the first African chair that handled the Youth Council in the USA. Ambassador Ndubisi, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have both of you on the program. Like I did say earlier on, it's just been one killing too many. One killing too many. People are dying in droves every day. Gentlemen, what is going on? Mr. Kalu.
Thank you very much, Ernest. What is happening in Nigeria is indeed very bothering. In fact, with the wave of killings going on here, you start to ask yourself if the government of the day is actually seeing what is happening here in Nigeria. The life of the Nigerian citizens are no more taken into high regard. And it is actually a very bothering matter today, which I think something must be done about it.
Something must be done about it. That is why we're here. What exactly? Chibike, why is it so difficult for these fellows to be tagged a terrorist group? Why are they not being proscribed as a terrorist group?
Well, I mean, several authorities, they have been alluded to that. The truth is, there's no legislation, whatever it is, they have to be domestically, affirmed. But the truth is, our government have been very reluctant to do that. Of course, they have been tagged that, in fact, they were described as one of the worst terrorist groups. But the truth is, we need to, establish that, and we need to call it by its name. But having said that, you alluded to something. You said governments, I swear, it's an oath.
It's an oath.
It's not just an assertion. It's an oath that you are swearing with the Constitution, with the Bible and with the Quran, that you are going to defend the Constitution, defend lives and properties. And that, by the way, that is the highest point of a democracy or any government. It is unfortunate what we're experiencing here today. It's been happening. It's happening on a daily basis. Yesterday I tweeted or I wrote something. I said, look, what moral authority do we have to talk about Nigerians that are being killed in South Africa when those right here in their own country are dying like chickens? We have no moral authority to respond to those ones. And so those outside can wait. We have not dealt with the issue right here. And that is a moral burden really on our government. Unfortunately, if you go back to the script, the speech of this our president, beautiful phrases, Nigerians were very, very, very assured. They were very happy that we have seen the government we are looking for. But no sooner than this government takes its place that we realize recognize that we have no iota of respect for life in this country. And government have not been able to respond appropriately to this matter. Of course, you see what is happening out there. Where are we going to start?
But why is it that? Is it that the government is not proactive enough, or is there something that they are not telling us? Is there a hidden agenda anywhere? Because some people have started looking at this as if it's more of a religious thing. Because if they can go, when it started, it was like that. It was a farmer headers kind of thing, but it's like it has gone beyond that.
Well, I think the first mistake that Nigerians make about this crisis is to term these people as herdsmen. Okay, we all see herdsmen on the streets and see how, quietly they move. What is happening is that a group of militants, combatants, okay? A combatant, a soldier doesn't need to, it's not a must that a combatant should wear a uniform, okay? A combatant can operate even without a uniform. As a matter of fact, he when he's camouflaged, he's more dangerous, as a matter of fact. So these people are soldiers who have infiltrated, have moved into this country, and are using the herdsmen as a basis for operation. Okay? And I keep telling people, I say, we have to create this distinction here that these people are not herdsmen. These people, we've known that most of them are from the neighboring countries.
Like the president said, they were trained by
absolutely
Gaddafi, and they just
these people come in. But for him just to say that accuse that these people were trained in other countries, you see, as a president, in chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution, section 13 and 14, specifically section 14. If you look at the 2B of that what the Constitution says, it says that the primary duty of government is to secure the lives of the people and take care of their welfare. Okay? This is the primary duty of government. And from what we've seen here, the president has failed completely in taking care of that matter. Look at what is happening in Europe. Look at what happened a few weeks ago when Britain had to make a case against Russia, which led to the drawing out of many diplomatic representations of Russia, just because alleged plan to kill a British citizen and his daughter. It was still alleged. It had not yet happened. This is what a country that understands what it means to take care of its citizens does. Today, the number of people that are being killed every day in Nigeria, in fact, nobody keeps track of the numbers again. It is outrageous, and the government is not doing anything about it.
Is this the time for us to, T.Y. Danjuma came out to speak some time ago, and that was during the convocation in one of the state universities in Taraba. And he said that the military are colluding with these people, and I think it's about time that people will start defending themselves. Do you think this is the time that Nigerians might start heeding to this call?
Yeah, of course, people are already beginning to heed it. I mean, it's natural. You don't even need anybody to, tell you before you subscribe to it. I mean, the truth is, of course, obviously there is collusion. But my greatest concern is, assuming these people are foreigners trained by geography, I think it's a good motivation that the president said that if you have established that, that's a more reason to go all out for them. That's right. In defense of your people. Now, mind you, the president has told us sometime that Benue people should be their brothers.
To accommodate.
That's why. So is it the so-called foreigners they are going to accommodate, or our own people wearing the toga of herdsmen? You understand? My brother said something. It's more. I think it's a mistake that we are beginning to call them herdsmen. But the truth is, these people are wearing the looks of herdsmen. The difference is they carry AK-47 and other dreaded weapons. And we are told that herdsmen we have known over time carry long sticks. You understand? So it is not supposed to be a guesswork for Nigerians. The truth is that we have service chiefs, we have service chiefs, we have uniformed personnel, we have ununiformed intelligentials, we have all of them. Those who can go undercover to happening here. This Nigeria is a sovereignty. And the moment you say of course we know how our constitution, the states are still dependent largely on the center. What does it take for the service chiefs? To go down and determine what is happening. This is going around, and it's going down systematically.
But the Senate had already passed a vote of no confidence on the service chief and the security, and they are summoning the president to come and the IGP to come and maybe talk to them in a joint session. In the day that will be given there.
I was so happy. For the first time, let it be said that those in the National Assembly have suddenly realized the power they must master, because that Halal chamber is the only authority that is representative of Nigerians. So when they act, they are acting on our behalf. So it is not, I'm not surprised that this president is summoned. And honestly, it's not supposed to be a begging issue. The president must appear because it has gotten to a level the service chiefs cannot respond to. And that is what we see. So the president must come and respond. Why Nigerians have suddenly become chickens on a daily basis? Is it because we are 190 million, therefore we can be dying on a daily basis?
But Femi Adesina was asked a question that why have these people not been tagged terrorists? He now said, will you tag a ghost terrorist? That these guys will come in, attack and disappear into thin air. So who are they going to tag terrorists? But with the Senate now coming to pass a vote of no confidence on the service chiefs, if you were the president, what will be your next line of action?
Well, if I was the president, if I were to be the president, I would have to understand that I have lost control of what is happening. And in this society where we live in here, you do not find a situation where presidents who have seen the reality, leaders seen the reality, decide to say, okay, I cannot go any further. It is time for me to back down. You see, what are we talking about? Are we talking about it? This is not rocket science. Okay, we have modern medical technologies today, science today to identify people. We have known that most of these people who do this in Nigeria are foreign nationals, particularly from the Nigerian Republic. The first thing a president should do on the diplomatic level is to call that country and say, what is happening? We've had cases here of your people coming in here. That is if the president is actually serious in solving this problem. You call the diplomatic representation of Nigerian Republic and say, we have a case here, we've identified your citizens coming here to kill our people. What is actually happening? Can we go into a sort of border, synergy along the borders to see how we can, prevent, people from coming in here? America is doing it within the borders.
But my question is, how do these people pass into this country where we have border patrols, we have security at the border, we have the immigration, how do they get in?
This is what surprises many Nigerians, including myself. And this question can only be put to the particular agency in Nigeria responsible for, securing our borders.
But you see, there's obviously a lack of sincerity in the whole scenario. There's no sincerity put on part of government and our security agencies. There is nothing. There's none. There are some conspiracies, and this has been overflowed. You see, it's very evident when you see the way this thing is unfolding. You will know that security agencies are not alive to their responsibility. They have suddenly lost steam. They don't even have direction. We were told, students of politics, we were told that Nigerians were the most performing security men and women out there. So why is it that now Nigeria is
under siege?
You can no longer respond. And our defense is having the lion's share of our budget every now and then.
Is it good for me to say that Nigeria is under siege?
That's an understatement. They're already beginning to tag us failed state. Failed state.
But is this like a confirmation of a prediction that was made sometime in the US that by this time Nigeria will have collapsed or divided, because over time Nigeria has not been this divided.
The truth is, many have accused our president that since the swearing in, that Nigeria has never been this divided. Okay, Nigerians no longer trust themselves. Just go to Twitter, go to Facebook, and look at the trust. You will see the level of enmity between one side and the other. Honestly, under normal circumstances, people keep criticizing the imbalance in appointments. If it were be a normal situation where the president means well for the people and means well for this country, even if you go to Lagos State and point all the service chiefs, all the electable offices, and they are doing well, people will know better. Because what is it about governance? It's about people finding enabling environment to express themselves, do good for yourself. Go to any part of this country, relax, recite, without any inhibitions. That is what our democracy entails, and that's what our constitution has enabled us. The moment you can no longer feel safe in any part of this country, government has failed. The moment we will now begin to prompt security agencies, it doesn't even need the president to say, go here and respond, attend to this place. You have been appointed, You must be proactive, you must be up and doing. Your strategy must be all-encompassing. Yes, whether we have the numbers or not, as in security agencies, whether we can go around, but we have seen single individuals having retinue of aids, those who are better sent to Benue or better sent to Borno to go and tackle the security issues. You see them carrying handbags and all of that. The truth is, there is no sincerity. The moment we're sincere, we'll find solution to all of this. And it's not about the executive. The executive, both the legislature and the judiciary and Nigerian citizens can work together to deal with this issue. Because have you done enough intelligence gathering to establish who are these people? You have not. Have you arrested people and tell us the following? They say, we have established these people are arrested, they are Nigerians or non-Nigerians. Nobody has said that. So we are doing guesswork. Even president is talking just, they are at cross purposes.
Can we say that maybe the lack of enough manpower in these security forces can also be a factor?
Well, I don't think, my colleague, Mr. Chibike, just said that when most of our security outfits, our defense outfits go out of the shores of Nigeria for UN missions, they perform very well. These things are
the best.
So I think the problem is that there is a lack of sincerity on the part of the present government to address this matter. Like I've told you, you can call up a country, a representation of a country and say, we have seen what your people are doing here. We want you to look into it. They can walk hand in hand and say, let us tighten our borders. But the government is not doing that. And the government has never said that it doesn't have money to do that. So there is a moral question if truly the government, the president of this country, is willing to stop this problem.
But as the president, he took silent about this. Since he came into power, he has only addressed the nation once.
Yes.
And that was the first time he had a media chat, and after that, he always addresses us from outside the shores of Nigeria. Shouldn't this have called for a State of the Nation address?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we should have the recent move by the National Assembly, which is the Nigerian Parliament, which is the spokes arm of the Nigerian people, to call him, to invite him, to ask him questions. I think we should have done that for a long time ago. But Nigerians seem to be so, Nigerians. Somebody told me sometime, he said, Nigeria is the only country where people take many things for granted. For a very long time now, we should have called the president to order and said, we need you to explain to us what is happening here.
Is there people are saying that it's like this, an orchestrated plan to annihilate the people of the States, because it's just happening more. They are happening every other places, Zamfara, Taraba, Nasarawa, but it's very, very prevalent in Benue State. What is it with these people and Benue?
Well, it's really what you're saying is very true, and these are the questions that we have been asking ourselves. Why is it that these people tend to focus their attention so much?
And Benue, that region.
It's really these are
questions. And we're talking about economic revolution, agricultural revolution, and Benue State is supposed to be the food basket of the nation. That is where most of the cash crop produce come from. And now we are having this situation where people can't go to farm. Is the country not moving towards starvation soon?
Wait,
how good is our food security?
We've not seen anything yet. Next year, we're going to see that, it's going to be, you see how Hobbes described society before now? You say it's going to be brutish, nasty, and short. That's what we're going to experience next year, because we're not going to see any food. You see, the truth is, how can you see food? Benue, Taraba, all of these states, these are the places where we can boast of some ample production. You understand? But people are no longer enough. Of course, the whole issue is farmers are being killed in their farms. How can you can't go to farm? And mind you, I think we are understating the implications, because food security is one of those things that can project you positively or negatively for the entire world. We have been going cap in hand. Because how many countries have our president traveled to? They say they are looking for investments or whatever it is. Nobody is going to respond. If they are responding, at the last count, the president has been to more than 30 countries or a little less since inception. If there are going to be investments, I tell you, everybody would have been employed by now. Nothing is happening because we are making ourselves a laughing stock. Have you seen the report published by America recently? Every part of it has indicted this government. You understand? So we mustn't be a laughing stock. Nigeria, for me, is supposed to be one of those big countries. It's supposed to be playing, it's supposed to be a regional power. If you're not going to be a global power, you're a regional power. You're supposed to be influencing the rest of the countries in this state. But we are not doing all of that. We are now battling with our own internal security. We are supposed to be responding to our neighbors' security. Our neighbors' insecurity is supposed to bother us. Right. Now we are the ones that is even undermining security in the rest of the district. You understand? So that's the issue. And I don't think the powers that be in Nigeria have realized that. When you become a president of Nigeria, it is not a tea party. It is not. Nigeria has one of the most, agile followership. You understand?
Worldwide.
Yeah, most outspoken citizenship. And that's why if you look at every platform today, is it on the Facebook, is it on Twitter, and this, Nigerians are speaking out clearly without mincing words. So I'm not surprised what's going to happen. I think the earlier the powers that be realize that we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder, the better for us.
Before it used to be the farmlands. Now they started entering the church. Is this a religious war?
Well, this this has a religious coloration, if you may, and you see a certain people targeting a certain religion, and when this happens, it shows you that there is a plan somewhere by some people to see how they can eliminate a certain religion, a certain people of a certain religion. But you see, we can't keep guessing or keep complaining. I am very happy that the National Assembly has decided to call Mr. President. In fact, I think the question should be, tell us if you and your service chiefs are unable to handle this problem. Please. Excuse us. So that, because we cannot, Chief Wike talked about the economic factor to this. You see, you cannot invite investors to come to your country when people are being killed every day. A German citizen was kidnapped just about 3 weeks ago. And, we live in an age where information technology, anything that happens today goes around the whole world. And investors are seeing this. Nobody would like to put his money somewhere, and we're talking of millions of dollars. Nobody would like to invest millions or billions of dollars in a place where people are being killed. So it is high time that Nigerians, point blank to the president, if you cannot handle this, please, let's try somebody else.
And there's no president that's more powerful than the entire country. The truth, I just wish you saw what happened in South Africa just before Zuma was
removed.
I was looking again. Could it be Zuma they are talking to like this? The parliamentarians were addressing him down because when it comes to security of the entire country, it's a big business.
Well,
it's not a business as usual.
Okay, there was one video where he was supposed to speak in the parliament, and one of the parliamentarians stood up and said he has no local standing to even speak.
That's where the people remain the sovereigns. Because here now, the people have been subjected to the lowest.
Conquered.
You understand? That's the word.
But is the president doing anything about it? Because recently, even though there is a problem to that, he recently withdrew money from the ECA to purchase some planes that will be used to help counter this insurgency, though it was predominantly supposed to be for the Northeast.
Yes.
But I think with the issues on ground now, they might deploy those planes, even though the planes are not arriving till 2020.
That is the saddest commentary. I don't know. Is that true? That's what I heard when I was
Say it's not arriving till 2020.
Okay, so what is the urgency there? Talking about urgency, you did not do, procedurally, you didn't follow due process simply because of its emergency nature. So if it is going to be supplied in 2020, where is the emergency? That's my question.
Well, this matter of not following due process, you see, in law, there is this case of the motive and the intent. You see, if you have a case of, let's say, two brothers were playing with a knife, where one brother stabbed the other one. You see, when the matter is brought to court, the court tries to see what was the motive, what was the intent. Okay, was this just brothers playing together and recklessly, one of them hurt the other person, or was there any formal plan to do so? You see, when the president does not go through the normal process as stipulated by the law of going to parliament to say this is what I want to do, and then suddenly he turns back and runs to the to parliament after the news has gone out that he has made this purchase. You see, in law, you have to question the motive. Could it be that he wanted to take that money to do something else, and then maybe it leaked, and then he ran to the parliament to say, I have done this? The motive and the intent in law is taken into consideration. So we do not really know what his plans are, and it is indeed it is a blatant smear on the sensibilities of Nigerians.
And maybe that's why the National Assembly have summoned him. First, the summon was supposed to be for him to come and explain why that money why impeachment processes should not start. Understand? So, but we'll talk more about that when we come back from this break. We'll look at the National Assembly, the role it has played in this, and if these calls are a bit too late, or if these have come earlier. These and other things we'll discuss. Don't go anywhere. The real campaign will continue after this break.
For almost a decade, the Nigerian army have given their all to ensure that our dear country is not overrun by Boko Haram insurgents. Some have in the process paid the ultimate price, while many will forever live with the scars occasioned by their determination to protect the country, no matter the hurdle. Despite these, they have remained undaunted, and today, all territories the insurgents once took control of have been recaptured and normalcy restored. And now, for the first time in a long time, the end of Boko Haram is foreseeable. Therefore, the wisest thing for the remaining insurgents to do is to surrender today or face total destruction from the army. Remember, the Nigerian army will stop at nothing to ensure that total peace is restored in all parts of the country. So, be wise and embrace peace today, or get ready to be ruthlessly dealt with. This message is brought to you by the Coalition on Conflict Resolution and Human Rights in Nigeria.
You're welcome back to the program, The Real Campaign, here on Television Nigeria. If you're not yet part of the program, or if you're watching and you need your friends to be part of the program, please encourage them to like our Facebook page, Television, and just like the page, or you can go to our YouTube channel and just like the page and subscribe to the channel, and then you can watch our programs live. And if you have any comment, just drop it. We will get to read the comment and we'll pass the questions to our guests. Before we went on the break, we were talking on the purchase of the planes that will arrive in 2020, but the president was so much in a hurry to pay the money to the American government, saying that first there was a stop in the process. That was after some people were killed and the Air Force accidentally dropped a bomb on the IDPs. The American people stopped the process, and after much convincing, they now started. And the president's excuse was that why he asked them to pay the money was because the Americans are threatened that if they don't pay at a particular deadline, the deal they will rely, that they will recall the deal. So if that has been the case, and you know this plane was coming in 2020, why not go through the process, the constitutional process of discussing this with the National Assembly first before touching the money? Because don't forget, there was this disagreement between the Minister of Defense and the SSA National Assembly, that was Italian, who came out to say that the president cannot touch that money without the approval from that. So what is really going on?
Well, let me tell you, see, if the government says that the American government compelled them, you see, this is not true. America is a democratic nation. America understands what sovereignty is. Even if you have a country of just 500 people, once it is a sovereign state, states respect sovereignty. America cannot compel the president. If the president says that America compelled him to dip his hands into the coffers of Nigerian taxpayers' money to pay for some weapons or military hardware, then we begin to ask him if Nigeria is now a colony of the United States of America. So this is subtly wrong. In fact, I don't know, the US has to respond to this allegation, because you see, the president in American terms screwed up. You cannot go, it's just like if I give you some money to keep for me. If we are friends and we say, okay, Ernest, keep this money for us, manage this money for us. Maybe we work in places where we feel that the money may be stolen. We say, keep it for us. And Ernest, you go ahead spending the money without our knowledge. When that deed is subjected to the law, when you look at it through the eyes of the motive and the intent, you have many questions to answer, even as long as thefts. Okay? The president still does not know what he has done. The motive for that is so questionable. It can be alleged that he planned to steal that money, and then somehow it was leaked.
Yeah,
then he runs.
He is Mr. Integrity, definitely.
Well, then he
wouldn't do that. But Chubike, is there any sincerity of purpose in this government?
You want to put me on the spot?
You know, I always.
Well, first of all, I want to. My brother, did they claim that America compelled them to do what they did?
He said that because they said that if he does not pay at a particular deadline,
oh, okay.
That they will.
Okay. That's not. You can't say that.
But for a plane that is coming in 2020,
it's not,
why do you have to pay
It's not true.
in 2018?
Okay, the one that concerns us as citizens and as National Assembly, the one that concerns us, because it's a constitutional matter.
Yes.
And the money was from the ECA.
Yeah, it's
So every tier of the government
Exactly.
should be involved in the process. And if
Absolutely.
one voice
Yes.
in any of the tiers says no, you
Just
can't touch
like-
it, because Fire Shake came and said touch the money.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So it is a constitutional matter, and it can attract impeachment proceedings, and that's why.
Which has
that's
already
why-
started in some of the
Yes,
cases.
yes,
Even
yes.
though some of the members are coming out to say that it's a PDP thing that they're trying to
No,
the president and get him out.
why sometimes I look at our democracy as still fledgling? We're not mature. If we mature, there are certain issues that go beyond party allegiance. There are certain things that is in the interest of the country, not necessarily about individuals that form parties or party politics. Not even the president. The president is a party man. On matters that are critical to this country, it becomes an issue for the public. Everybody should be involved. It's not something to play around with. You understand? In this case, every arm of government or every tier of government deserves respect. You understand? And that's why the structures are designed in such a way that you can't entirely progress on your own without recourse to the others.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not a power show. It's like we all have our own roles to play. It's simple. Once you abdicate that responsibility, you are throwing up what you see in the National Assembly. You know, the executive are as important as the legislature, and they are also as important as the judiciary.
But for a government that will come to realize that they do not respect the rule of law, because over time there have been court judgments that have been passed and they have been blatantly
it's a serious tag on
is that not supposed to be a problem? Is that not supposed to be worrisome?
Well, when things like that happen in a democracy, then it is now time for the people to rise up and question the government, using the law, using the constitution, which is supreme, as a standpoint. Now, you see, what decent democracies do is that when you have a situation like this where the government is not being responsive to what the constitution says, the people use the constitution to reply the government. Our constitution in section 143 makes it very clear that in a situation like this, where a president blatantly gets involved in gross misconduct, the parliament, it is not a partisan or party matter, or maybe somebody from a politician from a particular part of the country does not like the face of the president or not. It is clear and clear in the constitution. Section 143 allows the parliament to say, we ought to begin this process of impeachment. Impeachment is a very long process.
Yeah, but the National Assembly started, I think the House of Representatives voiced that out. But in other crimes, we see that when something like this happens, the president does not go on a jamboree or go on any other thing. Instead, he visits the scene of this the problem and try to at least sympathize with the people. But lo and behold, even after all said down, yes, on Tuesday he did come out to say that this is evil and that the people are trying to incite a religious war. But we did not see any delegation from the presidency going to commiserate with these people or even stay with them and say, look, we feel your pain. Instead, the president is now in Bauchi on the state visit.
Yes.
I mean, is that what it's supposed to?
It is not what it's supposed to be. It is obvious that the government has lost touch with the people. Okay? In the United States, for instance, when something happens, when there is a shooting, you see the president coming, even flying to the area where these things happen. These are in democracies where the leadership is close to the people. But in Nigeria, the leadership seems to be so celebrated and cut off from the people. And that is why you see the situation where the president cannot come down to relate with the people. I saw his visit to, the last time, when these girls were kidnapped.
They rolled out the red carpet.
Was rolled down. You start to ask yourself, was it coming there for an award? Was it coming there to receive an award? Or was it coming there to give an award? I mean, he should be in his fatigues, in his military fatigues. He's going to commiserate with the families. And he's been given a red carpet reception. This is a president that has lost touch completely with the people. And it is not supposed to be so.
You remember those days when we used to do the podium? H.O. Atoma, our friend, did say something. He said, if Nigeria can arrange that every minister, every government agency will be located in different locations of the country, maybe the Ministry of Finance is in Nyanya, and the minister will have to drive through that gridlock and hold up and see the dead around the minister. Maybe that will inspire them to maybe be in touch with the people, because from the way you both have started, it's truly stating that it's an obvious fact that the government have lost touch with the people. Hence, the president going to the UK and saying that we have the youths of Nigeria look back, they are lazy and...
You see, government is about the people. Remove the people, there's no government. Of course, we know how it all started in the Greek civil states those days. But the issue is, even if you don't, push them to reside with the people here and there, the issue is you must understand what is it you are coming to do for the people. I mean, when it is time for election and you travel all wide the country and you're speaking to the people, I don't know whether they even do that campaign. What I know they do is they just create a space, begin to dance to themselves and begin to address themselves. But there is, if you must canvass for votes, why are you canvassing for votes? There's something we do called Buhari meter, right? We are kind of tracking the promises made to see to what extent you are.
The supporters have come out to say that 3 years is too short a time for him to deliver. That's why he needs another 4 years to consolidate.
They can always say whatever they like, but the issue is Nigerian people, serious voters, the public knows that you need not to be there 8 years before you achieve something. See, the truth is, in mathematics, you don't need to arrive at the answer. Just start the process. You understand? Calculation. Start very well. What the marker will look at, how are you progressing? If you fail to bring the answer, you are as good as good. You're good
because
to go.
At least there is a process.
So yes, if this president, if this government has a structure from day one, of course, you know how long it took them to constitute.
I think the first what was constituted was the media arm.
So it took a lot of time.
Before.
I mean, we are supposed to operate.
But shouldn't any minister or any government agency that is not performing well, shouldn't the people at the aim of the affairs of those ministries or those parastatals, shouldn't they have been fired by now?
If you have the liver now, I mean, the truth is,
do you need liver to fire an incompetent staff?
Let me tell you something. The day Mr. President visited, the day one accusation was committed in Benue where the president said the IG should relocate. And when the president eventually got to Benue State, he was told that the IG never stayed
overnight.
And what did he say?
That he did not even know.
I mean, for God's sake, what does that tell you? Are we talking about, you see what you described, this minister in Ghana, this one is here. We're talking of people that the proximity of government, they are all within the same radius. You understand? I mean, you can call just a button away. It's a call away.
But this is the same police that could deploy 30 people to go and arrest Dino Melai.
That's what I'm saying.
They can't secure people.
Do you know the greatest fear I have is if you are the figurehead, the president, call it the president or the governor, if you're the figurehead and you don't have a tab on everybody, it's dangerous. If you delegate anything, you must be very proactive to know, okay, I assigned this to you yesterday, we discussed this yesterday. You must return to those issues. If they are too erring not to return to you, for God's sake, look, it takes a little thing to fire somebody. Because if you want to put my government in jeopardy, of course, I trust Trump now.
Trump,
who are you?
Imagine, remember when the man came into Nigeria, what was his name?
Yes,
he was even on his way back to America in the time, and they fired him through Twitter.
That's where you know, like, look,
incompetence is clear. You don't need to have a PhD to understand if the woman in the market, in Nigeria understands, even in her level, she understands that the money I have cannot buy things for my children again. She understands that people are angry. She understands
what part are the people who are working for this government, where are they patting themselves on the back for?
Well, they are doing most of those things because we, the people, have kept quiet. But I'm very happy that you see, in most developed, civilized countries of the world, people have the laws of the country, the constitution in their homes. It's a pity that we cannot rely on television because we don't have electricity, constant electricity. So that aspect of sensitization for the public is not there.
We have the phones.
Well, the phones are there, but the phones have actually contributed. In fact, social media is the only thing that has continued to create this sensation that you see now, that people are now talking, asking
People
questions.
are more aware.
Yes, social media. And
But just with this reading, how do you see 2019?
Please, before we go to that all-important discussion, let me just mention something. I remember during the period where I was saying that it's important that the president has a transistor radio. And all
Yes.
You understand? Supposing you want to say you are disconnected, they are not telling you, they are not informing you, you can hear it firsthand. You're talking about people giving themselves pat on the back. Look, if there is a roadmap or a blueprint, and you say we have a 4-year term,
4-year plan.
I mean, first 4 years, yes, you may be entitled to get 80, but the first 4 years, this is our roadmap. There's something they call first 100 days, right?
Yes.
If you look at Trump's first 100 days, it was overflooded, so much has been done. That's why I say, if you have a blueprint and your ministers sign to it, because president is not a superpower, it's not a spirit, he must depend wholly on the ministers.
Yeah.
The ministers must have tangible assignments, because it's all about, okay, you know how our power situation is. We have power minister, we have health minister. What is happening in all of these sectors? They are just reduced to nothingness. Yet there are ministers who claim they are working around the clock. So what are they doing? So they must come to the president, and the president must have information. Any president that does not read is not ready. He must be ready to read. He must be armed with information.
But
to call your minister to order.
With a president that is almost 76 years old, the propensity to read large volume, do you think that is...
So, but when you have smart ministers who don't have anything to offer, they come back to you, we have done 100% well, and the president cannot join issues with them on some particular issues. I mean, I trust Obasanjo now. As old as he is, this guy is a voracious reader. He can take you on. He is in charge. The worst that can happen to the government is when you are seated there and the ministers are on the spree, doing whatever they like. You can't call them.
Recently, they were in America, and I heard they were invited for an economic forum where they were supposed to talk with investors. But they came out to say that the proper invitation was not sent to them, that they came for a different World Bank issue. I was thinking, if this is a Nigerian thing, and you are in America, maybe the ambassador deemed it fit that since we have a large gathering of the appointees of the president domiciled in America at that point in time, that it should create a forum where they can come and discuss with these people. Apart from Amechi and Sanusi, none of them attended that forum. And Lai Mohammed came out to speak and say that they were not properly invited. Do they need a proper invitation to go for a Nigerian program where you can sell Nigeria?
these are all lies. There are laid down procedures for things like this. You see, a visit that a president should make in the next 2 months is already known now. Okay, you have cabinet members from the government and the receiving government communicating with each other.
So the embassy in America is very aware. Nigerian embassy, they know this, so there's no way they could
absolutely
have planned an event without inviting this.
You can't tell. In fact, these are one of the things we Nigerians hear, and it's like telling me to show you my leg. An adult like me, you're telling me to show you where my leg is. I've been with my leg for 3 decades now. Okay, so it is indeed embarrassing, actually.
So, well,
that kind of discussion. Let me paint some picture. It's just like Commonwealth, this and all of that. When you organize such things, there are topical issues going on simultaneously in some areas. High-brow meetings, side meetings, and all of that.
Yes.
You, as a minister, depending on where your interest is, how interest of your government is. For instance, if a power minister is there and there is such a gathering on power, it is your duty, your prerogative, to decide which one to attend and establish which one is of priority to you.
I think they said they came for a World Bank conference,
but we
and
know
that was what they went for, and they were not properly invited, or they were not invited for the. So for my question was, that means the ambassador didn't do the right thing, because they even got the microphones were not working. A meeting that was to start for 8 o'clock did not start until 10. Today you were invited for this program. You were here even an hour plus before the time.
All the back and forth must have been done.
The back and forth must be done. And another thing is that they got it all wrong from the start. You see, I admire Fashola, for instance, for what he did in Lagos State. I admire him so much. He's one of the people I admire so much. But how can you take a lawyer and put in a ministry, to man a ministry that is technically centric, a ministry that should be for somebody who is well learned in the engineering science? You take a lawyer, how is he going to review technical things pertaining to Nigeria?
Maybe he will put it to the...
And when you put it to those people, you do not know what they do with it. As a minister, you should be able to, you shouldn't do everything, but you should be able to say, okay, this is the policy direction which I got to discuss with the president. As a lawyer, power generation, it is like talking about Canada and Australia. These are very far, distant countries. So they got it wrong at first. You see, government is not something that you start, when you start missing it at first, you just cannot get it in between.
When you miss it at first,
Absolutely.
you can't get it in between.
Absolutely.
Well, the Christian, I asked you about the 2019 election, and the Christian Khan has asked the Nigerians to come out on Sunday to protest peacefully against the killings, especially the one that happened in Benue, where people were in church on a Sunday morning. With all this happening, what do you see happening in 2019? If you look into the what do they call that ball? No, there's this ball that you look into the future.
Not
the Oja ball.
crystal ball.
You look into the crystal ball.
Okay.
So, if you're looking into the crystal ball, what do you see playing out in 2019?
Oh well, first of all, let me tell you that cannot be 2019 without Nigeria. That's just the truth. See, I think the president, your 4 years has not lapsed, and we're still looking up to him.
Yeah, but he said that his concentration is to...
Yeah, because let me tell you, with all this happening, all of these places you're mentioning, there are still high-bro meetings going on, and we're seeing them. The other day he met with governors, right? Today or yesterday he was in Bauchi, right? So these things are happening, irrespective of the killings that are going on. And all of this is towards 2019. That's why I said there is no 2019 without Nigeria. But the truth is, what it tells us is that 2019 is going to be explosive. And my happiness is that Nigerians are more enlightened, more educated, and they now know the right thing to do. You see, this is not the time to shy away from that responsibility.
Because people are rushing in now to get their PVCs. People are rushing in now to register so that they can be eligible to vote in 2019. Do we see that this is a time for a young, vibrant presidential candidate to come out and contest?
Well, Ernest, this is a very important topic. In fact, I just want to go back a little bit to the question you asked. You said, how is 2019
going to look like?
You see, I want to commend Dr. Ayokunle, who is the current president. You see, I want a situation where other religions can emulate what he has said. He has not called anybody to bear arms. He said,
in front of your
let
church,
us stand up and
cry against
most of these discrepancies in this country. Now, I want a situation where other religions can do the same. You see, the reason why these discrepancies have been thriving in Nigeria is because the people have been very quiet. 2019 is going to be very interesting Because like never before, Nigerians have become so informed. In fact, I heard that there was a Catholic priest that said that any member that does not have his PVC or her PVC will not receive Holy Communion.
But even the governor of Imo State, Rocha Sokoja, told everybody like, no PVC, no salary.
So this is very healthy for us. This is very healthy for us.
Well,
this is very, very healthy for us. And it is also the time for young people. I believe in most of what I do is to encourage young people coming into politics. But we have to be very careful. The young people we're talking about must have traction. The young people we're talking about must have antecedents. A young person alone, your age alone, is not a proper qualification to bring you to lead this country. As much as we want young people to come in there, we're looking forward to see young people with substance. Young people who can stand and say,
capacity.
With capacity. If these young people are not there, then the idea to bring young people into government becomes something utopian. But from what I know, the Nigerians we have today
are smart enough.
Smart young Nigerians, I don't care what the president says, smart young Nigerians.
Not lazy
and
ones.
I believe there are not, how can you say lazy ones? They are responsible for 84% of the labor, of filling the labor force in the country. The small and medium scale enterprises, which are the backbone of the country, which generates up to about 5% of the GDP, are manned by young people. And these young people have not been given any incentives by government. So
well, Atiku did come out to say that at Chatham House. He spoke some days ago, and he said that he wouldn't blame the president for saying the youth are lazy because he's not an employer of labor.
No, but that's one of the big truths I've heard in recent time. It's true, really. Honestly, you see, this is not too young to run. I know
the president has not accepted it.
He has not. It's not, but it is very risky.
But I believe the National Assembly can veto this and overrule.
The care has made. We have a lot. You see, we have had a lot of experience from these old folks, and truly.
IBB says
simply
the analog, they should give way for digital. Okay, gentlemen, we're rounding up. Last word from you.
Well, we have a lot of young people, a lot of Nigerians that are yet to come to terms with the connection between their votes and what we are going to today. So it is time for people to connect their votes to that kind of lifestyle they anticipate, because there's a lot of connection between it and what happens in the future. So our civic responsibility once again has come to the fore, and I think we should make the best use of it.
Okay.
So take a step, go all out, and empower yourself with your vote.
With your vote. Last word.
Well, I would like to look into the camera so that I can communicate with my
dear constituents.
You see, Nigerians, dear friends, this is our golden opportunity. The reason why we see most of these things happening in Nigeria today is that we were not very conscious of the people who we want to manage our affairs. It is time for you to listen to what these people say they are coming to do here in Nigeria for us. Let's stop listening to people who say we will build roads for you, bring electricity. These are basic things. Let us know from them, how do they intend ending this security problem in Nigeria? How do they intend ending the high unemployment rates? How do they intend increasing the efficacy of Nigerians to thrive in a market economy? These are things we have to ask. And if these people do not have these things, please do not vote them into government.
Yeah, that if they don't have all those things, the purpose that makes it possible for us to have credible people rule this nation, don't waste your vote. Your vote is your power, and we at TVN will always encourage you as Television Nigeria that if you have not gotten your voters card, if you have not registered, if you don't have your PVC, now is the time to go and get it. Luckily, we brought the INEC woman here, and she told you how easy it is to get these things. So please go get your voters card and get ready so that we can all stand with one voice and speak for the betterment of ourselves, our children, and the future. That has been it on our program. I want to thank you, Ambassador Carlo, for coming to the program. Mr. Trike, I'm always happy to have you on my program. Well, my name is Ernest Ekweresien. The real campaign will come again tomorrow. Don't touch, just watch. God bless you.